Have you ever heard about a government decision and wondered who decided that was okay and who really benefits from that? The answer is buried under the layers of bureaucracy. But for over 25 years, One Piece has been delivering one of the most honest portraits of government corruption, and most people miss it because they're just watching the pirate fights. But underneath the powers and the great animation lies the accurate blueprint of how real-world power operates. Every government has a founding myth. In One Piece, the global superpower is the world government. The story is that 800 years ago, 20 kingdoms united to bring peace to the world, creating a massive neutral coalition. But there's a catch. The system erased a 100-year gap in history called the Void Century to hide the fact that they actually took power. The descendants of those founding kings are called celestial dragons. They live in an elevated city, literally above the rest of humanity, wearing space helmets just so they have to breathe the same air as so-called commoners. So, how does an elite group of fragile nobles keep control over the whole world? First, the Marines, the military. They represent justice and order. The genius thing is, they are genuinely good people who think they are protecting the innocent, entirely unaware of what they're actually enforcing. Then we have Cypherpool, the secret intelligence agency that operate entirely outside the law. They don't answer to the public or to the Marines. They answer directly to the elite. They handle the assassinations and the cover-ups. Then lastly, we have the Celestial Tribute, a massive global tax. Member nations must pay an extraordinary amount of gold to the elites. You can't pay, your nation loses all its legal rights, and they will also invade your nation. One Piece understands something most political fiction ignores. Governments are economic systems. The system isn't funded by good intentions, it's funded by extraction. It takes from the many to enrich the few. And to maintain a system built on a lie, you have to control what people know. Enter Ohara, an island of peaceful scholars and historians. They weren't soldiers or rebels. They were just archaeologists who figured out how to read the ancient stone tablets that recorded the forbidden history of the Void Century. And the world government's response? A buster call. Total military annihilation of the island. They didn't just arrest the leaders, they wiped the whole island off the map. The sole survivor was an 8-year-old girl named Nico Robin. She was given a massive bounty, not because she committed a crime, but just because she could read. This is what brings fear. Not violence, but knowledge. A population that knows the truth is impossible to control. And as the island burned, the scholars threw their books into a lake to preserve them. They knew their bodies would burn, but information outlives power. For most of the series, viewers assume the world is run by politicians called the Five Elders. They answer to a so-called empty throne, a symbolic chair meant to represent that no single dictator rules the world. It is a beautiful lie of democracy, because in reality, someone does sit there. A hidden figure named Emu rules from the shadows, commanding the Five Elders from total secrecy. The public believes in institutions and processes, but a single unelected shadow figure is actually erasing total nations from the map with a gesture. The wealthy elites, the celestial dragons, are all just a loud, flashy distraction. They draw the public's anger, while the real, hidden mechanism of power operates entirely unnoticed. The structure of this power is completely real. Governments survive on narratives, the revolution, the constitution, the election, but every country has its own version of the Void Century. The classified archives, the redacted files, the investigations that get shut down. Think about the Celestial Dragons. If one of them shoots a civilian in One Piece, the military is sent to eliminate the witnesses, not the criminal. It feels like an exaggeration, but look at our world. Do the ultra-rich play by the same legal code as you? Does the system protect them differently? One Piece just strips away the political lies and shows the raw truth of structural inequality. Luffy, the main character, isn't a political activist. He doesn't care about geopolitics. But when a celestial dragon shoots his friend in front of a crowd, expecting everyone to bow in fear, Luffy doesn't calculate the consequences. He punches them right in the face. And that single punch shattered the entire illusion. The system is built on the myth that these rulers are gods. Luffy proved that if you strike them, They bleed just like anyone else. The story doesn't suggest you can reform a broken system from within. It suggests that truth, once seen, cannot be unseen. When enough people refuse to look away, the illusion of absolute power begins to shatter. One Piece has been running since 1997. People love it for the powers, the world building, and the mysteries. But the reason it stays relevant is because of the colorful story about a rubber pirate who understands the dark realities of global power better than most news organizations. There's a whole other layer to this, how One Piece tackles racism and propaganda, but that's for another video. If this breakdown clicked with you, let me know in the comments which part of the One Piece world is a little too close to home. See you next time, and make sure to like, subscribe, and have a nice day.